Hello, and welcome to Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on episode 9 of Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. So it feels like it's been a little while since Senpai's actually gotten down to painting again. But as per usual, he can't really get any peace and quiet. Oh dear. So, Nagatoro's got boxing into her head, presumably because Senpai showed her Hajime no Ippo. And, I mean, she likes it, so that's something they have in common, but at the same time, you know, she's gonna use him as a punching bag. Yeah, this is definitely not a good thing, you know. I feel like Senpai would have been better off getting into something like Mazinger Z, because, you know, what's Nagatoro gonna do? Build a giant robot? Highly doubt it, you know. Best case scenario, get her into something that she can't use to inflict harm upon you. Uh-oh. Wow, you know, it's just like kind of a hug, but, you know, boy, darn if this isn't like the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to either of them. You know, I feel like this is a good opportunity to, stop boxing. Okay. So this is interesting, you know, she's sort of relaying this to her friends as though it wasn't like an absolute accident. Yeah, man, like, I feel like her telling the story has backfired, because everybody's sort of wanting to get into boxing and grappling. Surely this is not a good idea. Yeah, so just like clockwork, she sort of told them all that Senpai makes for a good punching bag, but now she's like, well, no, you guys can't use him. Only I can do that. And she sort of has to, like, fabricate a reason. Yeah, I feel like this really isn't going to end well for anyone involved. Everybody seems dead set on just beating on Senpai, the poor guy. Don't know what he did to deserve it. Yeah, this definitely results in the awkward scenario where everybody just wants to fist fight him, but Nagatoro is unabashedly on his side. Well, so it seems like, for better or for worse, he managed to escape that whole boxing incident. Ah, man. You know, now that Senpai is sort of romanticizing the art room and how it's so peaceful, I really feel like it's going to be an absolute den of chaos. And you know what? I'm not wrong. You know, Nagatoro and her friends have decided to take up art on their own. And, you know, Nagatoro's drawing about as well as I am. Ah, man, I feel kind of bad for Senpai. You know, if this is like his safe haven where he can just do what he wants and these people are desecrating things, you know, I feel like that would ruin my day. Oh, okay, so you know what? Nagatoro and her friends were sort of kicked out. And, they were kicked out by gamers, no less. Man. So they're complaining about the gamers and how they were just sort of ignoring everything they said. Senpai could learn a thing or two from them. You know what? Senpai is learning the wrong lesson from all of this. The real takeaway here is that what they're doing works, and if he wants to get these girls to leave him alone, then he needs to, embrace his inner gamer. Uh-oh. Oh dear. They've decided to tear apart the whole thing from within by sending one girl to distract all the gamers. Isn't that just what always happens? Man, this is rather insidious. Using a woman to break up a brotherhood of gamers. Oh dear. Yeah, and she's just sort of like playing them all against each other so none of them want to hang out with each other. Jeez. Yeah, you know, I guess it probably is for the best that Senpai is not a gamer like them. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is really bad. The conversation has turned to him, so naturally everybody's going to start picking at him, you know. There's two schools of thought here, or so it would seem. You know, some people seem to think that Senpai is an absolute herbivore. Nagatoro does not believe that to be the case. I mean, as with most things, I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle, but I feel like this disagreement is going to escalate. You know, they're going to try and scrounge up proof or evidence, and suffice to say, this sort of evidence they would need is not the sort of thing you should be doing in the art club room. Yeah, this is never going to end well if they're wagering money on it. Oh no. You know, his reaction really says all we need to know, that he has something in this room, and they only need to find it. You know, that leads me to believe that maybe he does have something, you know. Just so you know, there's nothing in here. Ha ha ha. Yeah. I mean, considering he was reading that manga Big Boobed Vampire earlier, I think that's good enough to qualify, but whether or not he's hiding it in the club room is kind of up for debate. Oh, senpai. Yeah, so he's talking about, like, basically To Love Ru, and he's got it hidden here. You know, oh, there's good artwork, there's good world building, you know, all the other stuff is merely ancillary. Like, I've heard that excuse so many times. Many times from my own mouth, so... Alright, so Senpai's hoping to win on a technicality here. The book's actually next door hidden, but... I don't know. I feel like something is going to happen that escalates the arms race, as it were. Oh no, Senpai's returning to the scene of the crime. He's gonna try and hide the book better, and in doing so, naturally he'll expose himself. Oh no! He's actually... He's trying to, help her out. Why would he do such a thing? You know, surely he doesn't want to, draw this whole weight of accusations down on himself. I'm wondering if it's merely because Nagatoro was going to lose a bet that he decided to throw things. Senpai is an enigma. So, you know, it feels like despite that whole dirty book debacle, everybody just sort of forgot about that. You know, I mean, I guess it wasn't really that big a deal anyways. Alright, so... Senpai here is noticing whenever Nagatoro gets new earrings. So, you know, if, like... Oh, no. She has an ear-piercing implement. This is... no good. You know, Senpai, what if I punch a bunch of holes in your ears? Oh, no. Yeah, you know, it was bad enough when she was threatening to give him a haircut. Now she's gonna, like, start piercing his ears. Oh, dear. You know, I don't know why that's such an embarrassing thing that the two of them getting matching earrings. But at the same time, Nagatoro was adamant that she would never wear matching anything with him. Man, like, this is just... Ah. See, you know, maybe I'm overthinking this, but, like, I feel like she didn't sanitize the needle at all. I feel like you have to do that before you're gonna start punching holes in people's ears. Well, I guess it was an elaborate prank, you know. She just sort of pinched him instead of actually punching a hole in his ear, but... Uh-oh. Plot's getting real thick now. You know, Nagatoro's friend is sort of invading her territory. So I feel like this whole business of having a stalker, if that's what's going on, I feel like coming to Senpai isn't exactly the professional thing to do. Like, what's he gonna do? Oh, it's one of those gamers. Well, I guess you reap what you sow. I mean, obviously it's not a good thing, but at the same time, you went and dealt with the gamers in the way you felt was appropriate. You know, clearly it's backfiring now. Man, I can only imagine they're going to strong-arm Senpai into doing something. I mean, at least on the upside, that gamer there looks like he's even wimpier than Senpai is, so if it comes down to a fight, you know, he could win. But at the same time, Nagatoro's friend is of the idea that Senpai pretending to be her boyfriend would be a better idea, as if, I don't know, coming up with a hastily constructed lie is the best option here. Yeah, you know, naturally Nagatoro's not too happy about this, but, like, what can she do? Man, you know, she's really doing Senpai dirty here. Just, like, I know she doesn't want him to help, but you don't have to paint him in such a bad light. I mean, it is interesting in that this friend in particular has been the nicest to Senpai out of everybody, so I guess it makes sense that he'd be inclined to help. But at the same time, you know, yikes, that's gonna ratchet up tension elsewhere, you know. Nagatoro's not gonna take this lying down. Yeah, I can only assume this is gonna go poorly. Like, instead of just the regular stalker, Nagatoro's also creeping on them, trying to keep tabs on Senpai, and naturally, something happens that's definitely not good. Okay, well, you know, I guess I'm kind of wrong. They're all sort of tagging along in secret. You know, it probably doesn't help that Senpai is sort of envisioning how all this will go. With all those classic iconic date tropes of, you know, touching hands accidentally, kissing in the movie theater, all that stuff. Yeah, naturally Nagatoro is simmering over this whole thing. Oh, man. You know, Nagatoro's friends, they're just taking the opportunity to lay into her here. Like, oh, surely this fake date couldn't be the genesis of a real relationship, Nagatoro. Man, Nagatoro doth protest too much. You know, her friend is being awfully considerate of how everything's going. You know, I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable here, Senpai. After all, you're doing me a favor. But do you happen to like anyone? He. You know, hint, hint. As if she doesn't already know. You know, okay, yeah, we were about due for the stalker to show up, but I guess Nagatoro decided to strong arm him instead. Yeah, Nagatoro really proved that this whole fake date business was really unnecessary. If she'd just done this to begin with, they would never have needed to go through this charade. Oh dear. So it's becoming pretty clear that Nagatoro's other friends are really only invested in this so that they can sort of make fun of Nagatoro. Or so it seems. They're more interested in getting pictures and footage of the date. Oh dear, I think I know what Nagatoro's doing here. Too bad this whole date thing didn't really pan out. Guess we could go on a date, ha 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 ha. Just kidding, but what if? Yeah, I don't know, just the inflection of the way she said that seems to me that she's not sort of like making fun of him, but sort of being like, hey, we'll get there. Don't worry about it. Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. See you, Space Cowboy.